Hi everyone and welcome back. My name's Alison, the online piano and the online violin tutor. Now welcome to another patron only video, and this one is going to be a violin tutorial for Czardas, and that was based on the back of the performance video that I did. I'll link that directly underneath if any of you haven't actually watched that. I kind of just did an off-the-cuff performance video of that, and I received a huge response. Loads of you loved it as well, so thank you very much for that video as well. I didn't really expect the kind of response, such a positive response from that as well. And a lot of you were requesting the tutorial for that. So this is a more advanced tutorial, and I have said that I will do more of these advanced type tutorials on my patron only feed. And the other thing as well is that if you are watching this video, you are a patron member, and thank you so much for your support as well. It means a lot to me, and obviously enables for me to have the time, generate the time for me to sit here and do these more complicated tutorials that I wouldn't otherwise be putting out on to my main YouTube channel. So, okay, let's just get on with it. So, I've got the sheet music here. This is my copy of the music, and you will see this linked underneath the video. Hopefully you've probably got it by now anyway, but what I did was scan in my copy of the sheet music, and that's got all my finger markings in as well. So I'm going to go through the finger markings. So what I'm mainly going to be going through is the positions on the violins, the fingerings that I'm using, why I'm using them, a couple of the bow techniques as well. Just more in-depth kind of stuff. I'm taking it as granted that you guys can play, or you guys can play to at least, you know, a good enough level to be able to play something like this. So you don't need me to teach you, you know, where the notes are on the violin. You know all of that. You kind of just want the technical stuff, and the good stuff is to, you know, how to play this. So the little hints and tips as well, for example, where you're going to put the bow to do all those fast parts. Okay, so for the start of it then. So this is all on the G strings. This is very, very difficult. This helps if you do have a good violin at this point. You might struggle a little bit if you do have a student quality violin. You know, I mean, if you've got something like a Stent or two, it's not really designed to be taking this kind of music, because you're going to be working a lot harder with the bow, a lot harder with the strings. The instrument itself is going to be working a lot harder as well. So it can be done, but you may just find that you're going to struggle a little bit with this kind of thing. You almost need to have, the quality of the instrument needs to match the skill level that you are, and obviously the skill needed to play any particular music at that, obviously at the desired skill level. Just a little kind of warning there, but I mean, you can certainly have a go, but you just might not get the most out of it. So the first one is an A all the way up here. So what I would do is, you just need to remember where that note is and just practice. You know, sometimes I'm getting it, sometimes I'm not, so I just need to practice that a little bit more. So I would just jump, you know, up and down, just so I can get that. You can sort of put a little marker there if you want to, just for the time being, to help you see that you know where that note is going to be. Okay, so moving on. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So you're going to have to make sure that you've got a flat enough bow, and that you're bowing slightly closer to the bridge. So normally I would bow in the not quite in the middle, just slightly off centre, further towards the fingerboard than the actual dead centre between the fingerboard and the bridge. Bowing too close to the bridge, although you can get a nice loud tone depending on what you're doing and what you need to do, but for the most part it will just sound, it'll just sound too scratchy, and you'll get a lot of that sound. So what you want to do when you're all the way up here, you need to make sure that you have very good intonation. Having a good string and a good violin is going to help an awful lot with this. For my G, I have an extra high tension, so it means that it's just wound a little bit tighter and I don't have to work when I do a lot of work on the G string. So I don't have to work quite as hard when I do a lot of work on the G string, for example. So that will improve the quality and the tone. With the bow, you need to work a little bit harder with that as well. So first of all, you need to make sure that your finger is fully depressed on the string, quite kind of hard in a way, and also that the entire flat of your whole finger is engulfed on the right note. So any slight error in intonation is gonna cause not only a wrong sounding note, but it's going to sound almost like a harmonic, because you're not fully depressing on the string. So you want the entire flat part, not just like the corner, it's got to be the entire flat part of your finger. You need to perhaps press a little bit harder on the bow, not too hard, because you don't want that kind of sound, but you want to press a little bit harder on the string as well, and you want to be flat bowed, slightly close to the bridge also, as I said, and flat bow as well. Practice a couple of scales there, just so you get used to the feel and the sound that. And then just experiment what it sounds like in different parts of the violin as well. So a little bit close to the bridge, maybe even tilting the bow. When you tilt the bow again, you can lose a little bit of quality of the sound as well. So just experiment up there. You really do need to get used to that, and you really do need to get used to what your violin sounds like up there, and the capability of the violin, and how good it is and everything. And if you're not really used to being up there, then it can be a bit of an alien sort of sound. So just practice a couple of notes up there just to get used to that. Okay, so let's moving on. So then you're all the way up to the B there, just taking into account all those things I've said. Then you're back down. So you've got a 1 for the C sharp, a 1 for the E, then follow the fingerings. Okay, and then we're back down. 2 in third position for the D, and then up to that G. So basically just follow the fingering that you've got there, and just keep it all on the G string, and you sort of can't really go wrong there. That part, more or less, well, it does actually repeat again. I'm not going to focus too much on the bowing. You have got some bowing markings there that I have done, that I have actually put in from when I was working on this way back when in the day. So, you know, whatever with the bowing, I don't really want to get bogged down with that so much. Then we're on to the next part. So we started on the G string in first position as normal, and then we're going to go 1 up on to E with the 1. So that's all on the A string, and then that B is third finger on the D string in third position. Then we're back into first position again. So you want a little harmonic there. So that harmonic is just move the hand up to sort of where it sort of can't go any further. Drop the fourth finger down very, very lightly, so you're hovering over it. And then you've got your harmonic there. And then 3 on the A string for the E. I'm moving down there for the B flat with 1. And then after the pause, we're up again onto the E for the second finger on the A string for the E. open A followed by a second finger on A. So just that little bit there, I did ever so slightly different. So just after you've done the for that C where you've got the pause on it, I just do a fourth finger. And I moved down on that F. So the rowel, I've got a second finger over the A on where it says rowel, and then you just keep it in third position from that point onwards. Okay, so now getting to the faster parts. So there I start in third position. Notice I'm mostly at the point of the bow as well. So for that, I'm pretty much at the, just between halfway and the point, so 3/4 I guess. So what I do with the bow there is, so can you see nothing is moving, just literally my hand there. I know I'm in the wrong place in the bow, but otherwise if I move my bow arm you won't be able to see, but it's still the same movement. So you also almost kind of want to loosen up your fingers. So you're obviously still going to be holding the bow, but you are very loosely holding. So someone, I mean, I could quite easily drop the bow, or someone could take the bow out of my grip here. So because of the way I'm gripping, I've got full control over the bow, but I've just loosened everything up on the fingers. So really it's more or less just balancing on, the bow is more or less balancing on my thumb, as you can see it is here, and then the fingers just stop the bow from tilting or falling out of my thumb, but really there's no pressure. And that means that the fingers can just sort of, you know, the fingers have gone a little bit floppy, so to speak, and I'm just sort of doing that really. And it's better if you're at the tip of the bow and you're doing that. So that's the kind of movement that you want to do, and then you need to practice it. If you're going too fast, let me see if I can do it. There you go. So if you're getting something like that, that means that your bow is going faster than your fingers, or the other way around. So what I would suggest with this is that you do slow practice and you work up to it. So still trying to keep that bow movement. So stay more at the point of the bow. The further up you go, the harder you're going to find it. So you need to stay closer to the point of the bow and just moving that wrist. So only the wrist is moving, nothing. So basically where my black hairband is there, anything above that is not moving. It's just anything below my black hairband on my wrist. And just keep it, just try and get it faster and faster, but just don't rush it. I mean, if that's the speed you can play it, there's no point you kind of go. The whole thing's just going to be a mess, isn't it, if you can't play it that fast. Obviously I'm just exaggerating that part there, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. That's all just going to be in first position from the okay, so moving on to the next page. I usually do the first little, but I don't normally do the second one. I just haven't, and you know, I just don't. And the next line is in third position, so we're starting off with the second finger. So that one you want to do it in third position, and then bring that first finger back for the C sharp. So it's just bringing that first finger back in for the C sharp, but everything else is staying in third position. Again, the same thing for the blowing applies, and then you're back down to the... So that bit there, that's all the same. Right, okay, so moving on to the chordal section. So really you have to play this with a lot of guts as well, and with a lot of bowing, and just go for it. So when you have the fourth finger and the third finger, keep the third finger where it is on the A string, and just, instead of the fourth finger, lift the fourth finger up off the E string and replace it with a first finger. But keep that third finger down on the A string so it doesn't change. Down to first position. Bar the first finger across on those two strings. It does say to do an open E there, but I do a fourth finger. It doesn't really matter, and keep that in third position, either or. It's up to you. The next part. So you can do a harmonic there. So you're just sliding up into fourth position there for that E, and then back down. Same thing again. Back down. And then some more chords. So for the C sharp and G, that's got to be crossed over. Okay, so from the E and the G, so 4 on E, 3 on G, as usual. 2 on F, 3 on D. C sharp and the G, so that's where those are essentially going to be crossed over. The third finger is going to be crossed over the second finger, so the G is going to be crossed over the C sharp. And then for the D and the F, you just kind of twist them around again. Okay, so moving on, in my performance video, I didn't do the harmonics part, but I might as well just go through it anyway. So there was no reason why the harmonic part was left out. The backing track that I found on the internet just didn't have that part in it, so I just didn't play that part. There was no other reason, purely the fact that it just wasn't put in the backing track, whoever did that, so obviously I couldn't fit that in, and I didn't do that. So that's the reason why I missed that out. But doing the harmonics, now these are quite difficult to do because they require a slight balance in the fingers. So what you're going to be doing is, the bottom note is the main note that you're going to be playing, and the top note is the harmonic. So for example, the first one, your first finger needs to be in third position on that D, and then the fourth finger that you can see there for the G that you would normally play in third position, that is going to be harmonic. So you're going to be pressing down fully with the first finger. The fourth finger is going to be hovering slightly over that to give the harmonic. So when you're doing harmonics as well, you need to make sure that you are hovering on the string, and also that you're playing on a flat bow and you're close to the bridge. So that was a lot harder there, so you can see I had to so that section might need a little bit of practicing, but what you're going to be doing there, what I would suggest to you is that you just do the bottom note. So this is just the bottom note, the note that's in black. This is what it's going to sound like. So with a 1. much all the way going to be the fourth finger. So adding in, I would recommend that you practice it that way first, so that when you do put the fourth finger in, you can concentrate really on what the bottom finger is doing, or what mostly finger one. There are a couple of open strings, a couple of open A's in there, but most of the time it's going to be finger one. So if you know what, if the finger one knows where it's going, the fourth finger then can just that's kind of secondary in a way. So for that one I'm doing an open A and I'm just hovering that third finger over. And then we're back to ones and fours. Another open A and a 3. And then we're back to ones and fours. Okay, so just remember that you want to be close to the bridge to get this sound. So this is quite a difficult section to do, but if you can get it going, it's really, really nice. So that's pretty much it with that section. And then, so I don't want to make this video too long. And then basically the whole thing just repeats from there. You're going back to the, and then the tune comes back again in a major key. And then that's pretty, then you've got the end. So on the very last line, I do an open E there. Now it says to move up on 2 on the B. I move up on 1 on the A. Move up. You can move up on 2 on the B if you want to. It's completely up to you. For me, that's slightly alien to do, but I just prefer to move up 1 on the A, but I will leave that in your capable hands. Once you're up in third position, already have the octave A there. And then be careful with this one when you put your second finger over, not to touch the open D with your second finger on the G. And there you go. So there we go. I really hope this video isn't going to be too long, but as I say, this is a slightly more in-depth and technical, well, it is a more in-depth and technical video, so I hope you guys kind of appreciate that. This is kind of an intermediate piece, so it is quite difficult, but there are very few techniques in there. This is one of those showy pieces as well, so it's simple but effective. It just requires a lot of slow practice. I wouldn't really worry about trying to get all the articulation with the bow straight away. I would probably work on the speed. If you work on the speed before you try and work on the bow will pretty much just work itself and pretty much just play itself there. So slow is the key with this one. Slow and consistent practice until you can get everything going at once. If you try and rush ahead and go straight in at that really fast speed, your fingers will get in such a muddle and they'll never get out of that muddle and never get used to doing it. So working with a metronome, I think, will probably really help and increasing that metronome speed. But just a lot of relentless practice with this is really all you need, and have fun with the harmonics part as well. If you can get that going, it's really nice. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you so much obviously for supporting me on Patreon, and obviously I hope that you continue to support me as well, and I will continue to deliver some more tutorials like this as well. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.